Shukke Kudoku, the merit of leaving family life. Bodhisattva Nagarjuna said, "Someone asks, with the lay precepts we are able to be born in the heavens above, to attain the Bodhisattva way, and to attain nirvana. Why then is it necessary to rely on the precepts of those who have left family life?" I reply, although both lay people and monks can attain salvation, still there is difficulty and ease. Lay people's livelihoods have all sorts of jobs and duties. If they want to concentrate their minds on the truth and the Dharma, their trade will deteriorate, and if they concentrate on practicing their trade, matters pertaining to the truth will deteriorate. They should be able to practice the Dharma without selecting and without abandoning one or the other, which is called difficult. If we leave family life and part from secular society to eradicate miscellaneous irritations and disturbances, and to concentrate the mind solely on practice of the truth, is called easy. Further, family life, being disorderly and noisy, with many jobs and many duties, is the root of hindrances and the seat of many sins. It is called very difficult. If we leave family life, we are like, for example, a person going off to stay in a deserted place among empty fields and making the mind whole so that there is no mind and no concern. We are already rid of inner thoughts, and external matters also have departed. As a verse says, "We sit in quietness among the trees of the forest. In the serene state, all evils evaporate. We placidly get a whole mind. This pleasure is beyond the pleasure of the gods. Others seek gain, wealth, and status, fine clothes and comfortable bedding. Such pleasures are not peaceful. In seeking gain, there is no satisfaction. In patched robes, we go begging for food. In movement and in stillness, minds constantly whole. With our own eyes of wisdom, we reflect on the reality of all dharmas. The many kinds of dharma gates, all through balance, are entered by reflection. The mind of understanding and wisdom abides in serenity. It is beyond the triple world." Thus we see that when we leave family life, to observe the precepts and practice the truth is very easy. Further, leaving family life and observing the precepts gains countless criteria of virtue and regulation, and puts us completely in possession of them all. For this reason, ones clothed in white should leave family life and receive ordination. Further, in the Buddha Dharma, The Dharma of leaving family life is the most difficult of all to practice, as illustrated when the Brahmin Jambukadaka asked Shariputra, "What is the most difficult thing in the Buddha Dharma?" Shariputra answered, "Leaving family life is most difficult." The Brahmin asked further, "What difficulties are there in leaving family life?" Shariputra answered, "In leaving family life, to have inner comfort is difficult." The Brahmin asked, "When one has already attained inner comfort, what then is difficult?" Shariputra answered, "To practice good ways is difficult." Thus, we should leave family life. Further, when a person leaves family life, the king of demons, in astonishment and sorrow, says, "This person has scarcely any hindrances or wants. This person will surely attain nirvana and fall into the numbers of the Sangha treasure." Further, in the Buddha Dharma, people who have left family life, even if they break the precepts and fall into sin, after they have expiated their sins, they can attain liberation, as the Bhikkhini Uppalavana explains in the Jataka Sutra. When the Buddha is in the world, the Bhikkhini attains the 6 mystical powers and the state of an arhat. She goes into the houses of nobles and constantly praises the Dharma of leaving family life, saying to all the aristocratic ladies, "Sisters, you should leave family life." The noble women say, "We are young and in our prime, and our figures are at the height of beauty. To keep the precepts would be difficult. Sometimes we might break the precepts." The Bhikkhini says, "If you break the precepts, you break them. Just leave family life." They ask, "If we break the precepts, we will fall into hell. Why should we risk breaking them?" She answers, "If you fall into hell, you fall." The noble women all laugh at this, saying, "In hell we would have to receive retribution for our sins. Why should we risk falling into hell?" The Bhikkhini says, "I myself remember during a past life I became a prostitute, wore all sorts of clothes, and spoke archaic words. One day, as a joke, I put on a bhikshini's robe, and due to this, as a direct and indirect cause, at the time of Kashyapa Buddha, I became a bhikshini. I was proud of my noble pedigree and fine features. Vanity and arrogance arose in my mind, and I broke the precepts. Because of the wrongness of breaking the precepts, I fell into hell and suffered for my various sins. But after suffering, I finally met Shakyamuni Buddha, left family life, and attained the 6 mystical powers and the truth of an arhat. Thus, I know that when we leave family life and receive the precepts, even if we break the precepts, due to the precepts as direct and indirect causes, we can attain the truth of an arhat. If I had only done bad without the precepts as direct and indirect causes, I could not have attained the truth. In the past, I fell into hell in age after age. When I got out of hell, I became a bad person, and when the bad person died, I went back into hell, and there was no gain at all. Now, therefore I know from experience that when we leave family life and receive the precepts, with this as a direct and indirect cause, even if we break the precepts, we can attain the Bodhi effect. Further, when the Buddha was at Jetavana Park, a drunken Brahmin came to Buddha's place and sought to become a bhikkhu. The Buddha instructed Ananda to give him a shaved head and to clothe him in the Dharma robe. Having woken from his drunkenness, the Brahmin was dismayed that his body had suddenly become that of a bhikkhu, and he ran away at once. All the bhikkhus asked the Buddha, "Why did you permit this Brahmin to become a bhikkhu?" The Buddha said, "This Brahmin, for countless kalpas, never had any will to leave family life. Now, because of being drunk, he has temporarily established a bit of the will. With this as a direct and indirect cause, in the future he will leave family life and attain the truth." In various stories like this, the merit of leaving family life is immeasurable. Thus, those clothed in white, even if they possess the 5 precepts, are not equal to those who have left family life. The world-honoured one thus permitted the drunken Brahmin to leave family life and receive the precepts, seeing it as the first planting of the seed of attainment of the truth. Clearly, from ancient times until today, living beings who lack the merit of leaving family life have been forever unable to attain the Buddha state of Bodhi. This Brahmin, because he was slightly drunk, momentarily established a bit of the will, and having his head shaved and receiving the precepts, he became a bhikkhu. The period before he sobered up was not so long, but the principle that this merit should be preserved and should be promoted as a good route of attainment of the truth is present in the world-honoured one's golden words of true philosophy, and is the Tathagata's original wish in manifesting himself in the world. All living beings, in the past, present, and future, definitely should believe and devoutly practice this principle of leaving family life. Truly, the establishment of the will and the attainment of the truth inevitably occur, relying upon kasanas. This Brahman's momentary merit of leaving family life is also like that. Still more, how could the merit of leaving family life and receiving the precepts for the whole of our present human lifetime and life be inferior to the merit of the drunken Brahman? Sacred wheel-rolling kings appeared more than 80,000 years ago and ruled the 4 continents, being abundantly furnished with the 7 treasures. At that time, these 4 continents were all like the Pure Land. The pleasure enjoyed by the wheel kings is beyond expression in words. There are some wheel kings, it is said, who rule a 3,000-fold world. There are distinctions between kings of gold, silver, copper, and iron wheels, who rule 1, 2, 3, or 4 continents, but the bodies of them all are invariably free of the 10 evils. Even though such a sacred wheel-rolling king is thus abundantly provided with pleasures, when a single white hair grows on his head, he abdicates the throne to the crown prince, and with his own body he at once leaves family life, puts on the kashaya, and enters the mountains or forest to train, so that when his life ends, he is inevitably born in a Brahma heaven. He puts this white hair from his own head into a silver casket to be kept in the royal palace and transmitted to the next wheel king. The next wheel king, when he too grows a white hair, does exactly the same as the previous king. The length of the life remaining to a sacred wheel-rolling king after leaving home is beyond comparison with that of people today. A wheel king is said to be already over 80,000 years old, and his body is endowed with the 32 signs. People today cannot equal him. Nevertheless, when he sees a white hair and realizes impermanence, he inevitably leaves home and practices the truth, in order to accomplish merit by performing spotless conduct. The kings of today cannot match the sacred wheel-rolling kings. If they waste precious time amid greed and fail to live family life, they may regret it in future ages. Still more, in a minor nation in a remote land, although there are kings in name, they do not have the virtue of kings. They are unable to confine their greed. But if they leave family life and practice the truth, many gods will gladly protect them. Dragon deities will respectfully guard them, and the Buddha eyes of the Buddhas, might definitely authenticate them and rejoice. In her past as a prostitute, the nun Utpalavana put on the bikini robe, not out of belief, but as a joke, although this likely carried the sin of making light of the Dharma. By virtue of clothing her body in this robe, she met the Buddha Dharma in a second age. The bikini robe means the Kashaya. By virtue of jokingly wearing the Kashaya, she met Kashyapa Buddha in a second life. She left family life and received the precepts, and she became a bikini. Even though, as a result of breaking the precepts, she fell into hell and received retribution for her sins, because the merit of wearing the Kashaya had not decayed, she finally met Shakyamuni Buddha. Meeting Buddha, hearing the Dharma, establishing the will, and doing training, she parted from the triple world forever and became a great Arhat, equipped with the 6 powers and the 3 kinds of knowledge. Undoubtedly, her state must have been the supreme truth. Therefore, when, from the beginning, solely for the sake of the supreme state of Bodhi, we distill pure belief, and we believe in and receive the Kashaya, the maturation of that merit will be swifter than the maturation of the merit of the prostitute. Still more, when, for the sake of the supreme state of Bodhi, we establish the Bodhi mind, leave family life, and receive the precepts, that merit might be immeasurable. Without a human body, this merit is rarely accomplished. In the western heavens and the eastern lands, as monks or as laymen, bodhisattvas and ancestral masters have been many, but none has equalled the ancestral master Nagarjuna. Only the ancestral master Nagarjuna quoted stories such as those of the drunken Brahmin and the prostitute in order to encourage living beings to leave family life and receive the precepts. This is the ancestral master Nagarjuna's exact record of the golden speech of the world-honored one. The world-honored one said, "On the southern continent there are 4 kinds of supreme excellence. 1. Meeting the Buddha. 2. Hearing the Dharma. 3. Leaving family life. 4. Attaining the truth." Clearly remember, these 4 kinds of supreme excellence are beyond the northern continent and beyond the various heavens. Now that, led by the power of long accumulated good roots, we have received a supremely excellent body, we should rejoicingly leave family life and receive the precepts. Do not waste the supremely excellent body of goodness, leaving its dewdrop life at the mercy of the wind of inconstancy. If we accumulate life after life of leaving family life, that will be the piling up of merit and heaping up of virtue. The world-honored one said, in the Buddha Dharma, the effects and results of leaving family life are unthinkable. Even if a person erected a stupa of the 7 treasures as high as the 33 gods, the merit gained would be inferior to that of leaving family life. Why? Because a stupa of the 7 treasures can be demolished by greedy and malicious stupid people. But the merit of leaving family life is indestructible. Therefore, if someone teaches men and women of this merit, or sets free male and female servants, or permits citizens, or with his or her own body leaves family life and enters the truth, the merit is immeasurable. The world-honored one, clearly knowing the amount of the merit, made a comparison like this. Shrivadi, on hearing it, though he was an old man of 120 years, was compelled to leave family life and receive the precepts. He sat alongside children in the end seats, underwent training, and became a great arhat. Remember, the human body of our present life is temporarily formed through direct and indirect combinations of the 4 elements and the 5 aggregates, and it always has the 8 kinds of pain. Furthermore, kasana by kasana, it appears and disappears, utterly without cease. Still more, during a click of the fingers, 65 kasanas appear and disappear, but because we are dull, we never know it. Altogether, in the passing of one day and night, there are 6,400,099,980 kasanas, in each of which the 5 aggregates appear and disappear, but we do not know it. It is pitiful that even as we appear and disappear, we ourselves do not know it. This duration of the appearance and disappearance of a kasana was known only by the world-honored Buddha and by Shariputra. Though other saints have been many, not one of them has known it. Again, by virtue of just this fact of instantaneous appearance and disappearance, living beings produce good or bad karma. By virtue of this fact of instantaneous appearance and disappearance, living beings establish the will and attain the truth. Our human body is a human body which appears and disappears like this. Even if we treasure it, it cannot stand still. Since time immemorial, There has never been a single person who, by begrudging the human body, stood still. The human body is thus not our own, but if we utilize it to leave family life and receive the precepts, we will experience the Buddha state that is as imperishable as a diamond. The Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi, experienced by the Buddhas of the 3 times. What wise person would not gladly pursue this state? Hence, the 8 sons of the past Buddha, sun, moonlight, all renounced a royal position of dominion over 4 continents and left family life. The 16 sons of the Buddha, universal surpassing wisdom, each left family life. While universal wisdom had entered the immovable state, they preached to the assembly the flower of Dharma, and they have now become Tathagatas of the 10 directions. 8 myriad kotis of people among the masses led by the sacred wheel-rolling king, their royal father, on seeing the 16 princes leave family life, also sought to leave family life, whereupon the king at once permitted them. The 2 sons of the king resplendent, together with their royal father and his queen, all left family life. Remember, it is evident that whenever great saints have appeared, they have inevitably considered leaving family life to be the right Dharma. We should not say that these people left family life out of stupidity, knowing that they left family life out of wisdom. We should hope to do the same. In the time of the present Buddha Shakyamuni, Rahula, Ananda, and so on, all left family life. Further, there is the example of the 1,000 Shakyas leaving family life, and the 20,000 Shakyas leaving family life. We should call these excellent examples. From the 5 bhikkhus who left family life at the beginning, to Subhadra, who left family life at the end, all people who devoted themselves to the Buddha immediately left family life. Remember, its merit is immeasurable. Therefore, if people of the world have compassion for their children and grandchildren, they should let them leave family life without delay. If they have compassion for their mothers and fathers, they should recommend them to leave family life. For this reason, a verse says, "If there were no past ages, there could be no past Buddhas. If there were no past Buddhas, there would be no leaving family life and receiving ordination." This verse is a verse of the Buddha Tathagatas. It destroys the non-Buddhist assertion that past ages do not exist. So remember, leaving family life and receiving ordination are the Dharma of the past Buddhas, while fortunately meeting a time to leave family life and to receive ordination, which actions are the wonderful Dharma of the Buddhas. If we idly fail to leave family life and receive the precepts, it would be hard to know what obstacle was the cause. With the subsisting body, the lowest kind of thing, we can accomplish the highest kind of merit. It may be the highest kind of merit in Jambudvipa and in the triple world. While this human body in Jambudvipa still has not disappeared, we should, without fail, leave family life and receive the precepts. An ancient saint said, "People who have left family life, even if they break the precepts, still surpass lay people who receive and keep the precepts. Therefore, the sutras solely encourage people to leave family life, and that benevolence is hard to repay. Further, to encourage people to leave family life is just to encourage people to practice venerable conduct. The effects and results gained by this encouragement surpass King Yama, the Wheel Kings, and the God Chakra. Therefore, the sutras solely encourage people to leave family life, and that benevolence is hard to repay. Such facts do not exist in encouraging people to receive and keep the precepts of a lay follower, and so the sutras do not verify it. Remember, if we have left family life, even if we break the precepts, that is better than not breaking the precepts as a lay person. As acts of devotion to the Buddha, leaving family life and receiving the precepts are, in every case, most excellent. The effects and results of encouraging others to leave family life are beyond the excellence of King Yama, beyond the excellence of a Wheel King, and beyond the excellence of the God Chakra. Even a Vaisya or a Sudra, by leaving family life, will surpass a Satriya, and indeed surpass King Yama, surpass the Wheel Kings, and surpass the God Chakra. The lay precepts are not like this, therefore we should leave family life. Remember what the world-honored one taught, though unfathomable, was widely collected by a world-honored one and 500 great arhats. Truly, therefore, we have been able to know that truths in the Buddha Dharma should be evident. Ordinary teachers of recent ages cannot fathom even the wisdom of the 3 kinds of knowledge and the 6 powers of one saint, much less the wisdom of the 500 saints. The 500 have known what ordinary teachers of recent ages do not know, have seen what ordinary teachers do not see, and have realized what ordinary teachers do not realize. But nothing known by ordinary teachers is unknown to the 500 saints. So do not compare the dismal and foolish explanations of ordinary teachers with the words of saints of the three kinds of knowledge. The Abhidharma Mahavibhasa Shastra, fascicle 120, says, even one who establishes the will and leaves family life is already called a sacred being. How much more one who has attained the state of indulgence towards the Dharma. Remember, to establish the will and leave family life is to be called a sacred being. In Shakyamuni Buddha's 500 Great Vows, vow number 137 is, in future, after I have realized the right state of truth, if there are any men who, in my Dharma, want to leave family life, I vow that they will be free of hindrances, namely infirmity, loss of mindfulness, confusion, pride, lack of awe, being stupid and without wisdom, abundant preoccupations, and distraction of the mind. Otherwise, I shall not realize the right state of truth. Vow number 138 is, in future, after I have realized the right state of truth, if there are any women who want, in my Dharma, to leave family life to learn the truth and to receive the great precepts, I vow that I will cause them to accomplish this. Otherwise, I shall not realize the right state of truth. Vow number 314 is, in future, after I have realized the right state of truth, if there are any living beings who lack good roots, but while experiencing a good root, feel love and delight in their mind, I shall cause them, in the Buddha Dharma in a future age, to leave family life and learn the truth, and shall cause them peacefully and steadfastly to abide by the sacred and pure 10 precepts. Otherwise, I shall not realize the right state of truth. Remember the good sons and good daughters who have left family life today. All have been assisted by the power of the great vows made in the ancient past by the world-honored one, and thus they have been able, without hindrances, to leave family life and receive the precepts. The Tathagata already, through his vowing, is causing us to leave family life. Clearly we have seen that it is the most valuable and the highest great merit. The Buddha said, "Moreover, if there is anyone who, following me, shaves beard and hair, and wears a kashaya without receiving the precepts, even those who serve offerings to this person will be able at last to enter the castle of fearlessness. For such reasons do I preach like this." Clearly we see that if a person shaves beard and hair and wears the kashaya, even without receiving the precepts, people who serve offerings to this person will enter the castle of fearlessness. Further, he said, "If, again, there is a person who, for my sake, has left family life, and who, even without taking the precepts, shaves beard and hair, and wears a kashaya, those who, through non-dharma, trouble or harm this person, will even injure the dharma bodies and reward bodies of the Buddhas of the 3 times, because they will eventually be filled with the 3 evil states." The Buddha said, "If there are any living beings who for my sake have left family life, and who shave beard and hair and wear the kashaya, even if they do not retain the precepts, they have all been stamped already by the seal of nirvana. Further, if anyone through non-dharma disturbs those who have left family life without retaining the precepts, or reviles and humiliates them, or insults them, or strikes, binds, or cuts them, using hand, sword, or stick, or steals their robes and patra, or steals miscellaneous necessities of life, then such a person injures the real reward bodies of the Buddhas of the 3 times, and offends the eyes of all human beings and gods, because this person wants to conceal the seeds that the Buddhas possess of the right Dharma and of the 3 treasures, because this person prevents gods and human beings from getting benefit and causes them to fall into hell, and because this person promotes and replenishes the 3 evil states. Remember, if people shave their hair and wear the dyed robe, even if they do not retain the precepts, they are stamped by the seal of supreme and great nirvana. If a person troubles them, this person injures the reward bodies of the Buddhas of the 3 times. That may be equal to a deadly sin. Clearly, we have seen that the merit of leaving family life is directly proximate to the Buddhas of the 3 times. The Buddha said, in general, those who have left family life should not commit wrong. If they commit wrong, that is not to have left family life. The body and mouth of a person who has left family life should be in mutual accord. If they are not in mutual accord, that is not to have left family life. Forsaking father, mother, brothers, wife and child, relatives and acquaintances, I left family life to practice the truth. That was the time when I was able to accumulate virtuous realizations. It was never a time to accumulate non-virtuous realizations. Virtuous realization means having compassion for all living beings as if they were babies. Non-virtuous realization is different from this. In general, the inherent nature of leaving family life is to have compassion for all living beings as if they were babies. This state is just not committing wrong and is body and mouth in mutual accord. When such behavior is present already in leaving family life, its merit is as described now. The Buddha said, "Furthermore, Shariputra, if Bodhisattva Mahasattvas want, on the very day of leaving family life, to realize Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi, and want, on that very day, to turn the Dharma wheel, so that when they turn the Dharma wheel, countless asamkhayas of living beings depart from dust and leave dirt, and amidst all dharmas attain purity of the Dharma eye. And so that countless asamkhayas of living beings attain the state beyond perception of all dharmas. And if Bodhisattva Mahasattvas want to attain liberation from the mind of excesses, and want to enable countless asamkhayas of living beings to attain the state of not regressing or straying from Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi, then Bodhisattvas Mahasattvas should learn the Prajna Paramita. This Bodhisattvas who learn the Prajna Paramita means the patriarchs. At the same time, the truth of Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi in every case is accomplished on the very day of leaving family life. However, when Bodhisattvas practice and experience the truth for 3 asamkhaya kalpas, or practice and experience it for countless asamkhaya kalpas, they do not taint it with limited and limitless. Students should remember this. The Buddha said, if a Bodhisattva Mahasattva thinks, at some time I will relinquish a throne and leave family life, on which day I will realize the supreme, right, and balanced state of Bodhi. Also on that day, I will turn the wonderful wheel of Dharma, causing countless, innumerable sentient beings to depart from dust and leave dirt, and causing them to have the pure Dharma eye. At the same time, I will cause countless, innumerable sentient beings to end forever all excesses, and to liberate their minds and intuition. Further, I will cause countless, innumerable sentient beings all to attain the state of not regressing or straying from the supreme, right, and balanced state of Bodhi. Then this Bodhisattva Mahasattva, who wants to realize those things, should learn the Prajna Paramita. This is the Buddha's gracious expounding of the merit of his descending to be born in a royal palace, as a bodhisattva in the last body, and his relinquishing the throne, realizing the right truth, and turning the Dharma wheel to save living beings. The Prince Siddhartha took from Chandaka's side a sword whose hilt of the 7 treasures was adorned with mani and miscellaneous embellishments. He grasped that sword in his right hand and drew it from its scabbard. With the left hand he at once took hold of the conch-like topknot of his hair, which was deep blue, the colour of an utpala. Wielding the sharp sword himself in his right hand, he cut off the topknot with his left hand. He held it aloft and threw it into the air. At this, Sakra Devanam Indra greatly rejoiced with a mind he had rarely experienced, and held aloft the prince's topknot, not letting it fall to the ground. With a fine celestial robe, Shakra received the topknot and kept it. Then the gods served it their most excellent celestial offerings. This is how Shakyamuni Tathagata, when formerly a prince, scaled the ramparts in the middle of the night, went in the daytime to the mountains, and cut the hair from his own head. At that time, gods of the heavens of pure abiding came down to shave his head and to offer him the kashaya. Such actions are always the auspicious omens of a Tathagata's manifestation in the world, and such are the usual methods of the world-honoured Buddhas. There are no Buddhas who realize Buddha while remaining in family life, not even one Buddha among all the Buddhas of the 3 times and the 10 directions. Because in the past there were Buddhas, the merit of leaving family life and receiving the precepts exists. Living beings' attainment of the truth inevitably depends upon their leaving family life and receiving the precepts. In sum, the merit of leaving family life and receiving the precepts is that they are just the usual method of the Buddhas, and therefore their merit is immeasurable. Within the sacred teaching, there is explanation of lay realization of Buddha, but it is not the authentic tradition. There is explanation of the female body realizing Buddha, but this is also not the authentic tradition. The tradition that the Buddhist patriarchs authentically transmit is to leave family life and realize Buddha. At the time of the fourth patriarch, the Venerable Upagupta, there is a rich man's son called Dittika. He comes to bow before the Venerable One and seeks to leave family life. The Venerable One says, "Will you leave family life with body, or leave family life with mind?" Dittika replies, "My seeking to leave family life is not for the sake of body and mind." The Venerable One says, "If not for the sake of the body and mind, who leaves family life at all?" Dittika replies, "In general, those who leave family life are without me and mine. Because they are without me and mine, the mind does not arise and pass. Because the mind does not arise and pass, the state is just the normal state of truth." Buddhas, similarly, are normal. Their mind is without shape or form, and their body also is like that. The Venerable One says, "You will realize great realization, and your mind will naturally penetrate to the ultimate. It is good that, through devotion to Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, you will inherit the sacred seeds and cause them to flourish." Then he lets Dittika leave family life and receive ordination. Now, to meet the Dharma of the Buddhas and to leave family life is the most excellent effect and result. Its method is neither for the sake of me, nor for the sake of mine, nor for the sake of body and mind. It is not that body and mind leave family life. The truth that leaving family life is beyond me and mine is like this. Because it is beyond me and mine, it may be the method of the Buddhas. It is simply the usual method of the Buddhas. Because it is the usual method of the Buddhas, it is beyond me and mine, and beyond body and mind. It is beyond comparison with the triple world. Because it is like this, leaving family life is the supreme method. It is neither sudden nor gradual. It is neither constancy nor a state without constancy. It is neither an arrival nor a departure. It is neither to abide nor to become. It is neither wide nor restricted. It is neither great nor small. It is beyond becoming and beyond non-becoming. Ancestral masters of the one-to-one transmission of the Buddha Dharma, without exception, leave family life and receive the precepts. The truth of Dittika meeting now for the first time with the Venerable Upagupta and seeking to leave family life is like this. He left family life and received ordination, learned in practice under Upagupta, and eventually became the fifth ancestral master. The 17th patriarch, the Venerable Sangha Nandi, is the son of the king treasure adornment of the city of Shravasti. Able to speak from birth, he always praises Buddhist matters. At the age of 7, he grows averse to worldly pleasures, and in verse he addresses his parents as follows: bowing to the ground before my great benevolent father, with vandana to the mother of my bones and blood, I now desire to leave family life. Hopefully, I beseech you, because you are compassionate. His father and mother firmly put a stop to this. At last, when he goes all day without eating, they permit him to leave home at home. They name him Sangha Nandi and order the Shramana Zenrita to be his teacher. Thus, he accumulates 19 years without ever regressing or growing weary. But the Venerable One is always thinking to himself, my body resides in the royal palace. How can this be called leaving family life? One evening, a celestial brightness falls upon the earth, and Sangha Nandi sees a path flat and level. Unconsciously, he walks slowly forward. About 10 miles on, he arrives before a great rock containing a stone cavern, inside which he at once settles into quietness. The father, having missed his son, banishes Zenrita out of the country in search of his son, but they do not know where he is. In the following 10 years, the Venerable One attains the Dharma and receives affirmation, after which he goes, teaching as he travels, to the kingdom of Madai. The term leaving home at home was first heard at this time. Aided by long accumulated good, Sangha Nandi found the level road in the celestial brightness, and he finally left the royal palace and went to the stone cavern. Truly an excellent example. Those who dislike worldly pleasures and abhor secular dust are the sacred ones. Those who love the 5 desires and forget about getting free are the common and the stupid. Though the emperors Daiso and Shukuso frequently associated with monks, they were greedy still for the royal position, which they never abdicated. Layman Ro, having left his parent, became a patriarch. That is the merit of leaving family life. Layman Ho threw away treasure, but failed to throw away dust. That might be called extremely stupid. Mr. Ro's Bodhi power and Mr. Ho's emulation of the ancients do not deserve to be compared. Those who are clear inevitably leave family life. Those who are dull end their lives at home, which is the cause and conditions of black karma. Zen master Nengaku Eijo one day spontaneously speaks the following praise. In general, leaving family life is Dharma without appearance. In the heavens above and in the human world, there is nothing to surpass it. Dharma without appearance means the right Dharma of the Tathagata. Therefore, in the heavens above and in the human world, it is supreme. As to the meaning of the heavens above, there are the 6 heavens in the world of desire. There are 18 heavens in the world of matter, and 4 kinds of state in the world of non-matter. But none is on a par with the truth of leaving family life. Zen Master Banzan Hoshaku says, Zen friends, appropriate learning of the truth is like the earth holding aloft a mountain without recognizing the mountain's solitary steepness, or like a stone containing a jewel without recognizing the jewel's flawlessness. If learning the truth is like this, we call it leaving family life. The Buddhist patriarch's right Dharma is not necessarily connected with recognition and non-recognition. Leaving family life is the Buddhist patriarch's right Dharma, and so its merit is evident. Zen Master Gigan of Rinzai-in Temple in Chinshu says, in general, those who have left family life should be able to intuit the normal and true view, to intuit the state of Buddha, to intuit the state of demons, to intuit the true, to intuit the false, to intuit the common, and to intuit the sacred. If they are able to intuit like this, they are called true leavers of family life. If they do not distinguish between demons and Buddhas, they have just left one nest and entered another nest, and they are called ordinary beings who are producing karma, but they still cannot be called true leavers of family life. This normal and true view means deep belief in cause and effect, deep belief in the 3 treasures, and so on. To intuit Buddha means to be clear in mindfulness of the virtues of Buddha, both in the causal process and in the resultant state. We definitely distinguish between the true and the false, and the common and the sacred. If we are unclear with regard to demons and Buddhas, we sacrifice learning of the truth, and regress and deviate in learning the truth. When we sense the doings of demons, if we do not follow those doings, pursuit of the truth does not regress. This is called the method of a true leaver of family life. Those who randomly consider demon doings to be the Buddha Dharma are many. It is a wrongness of recent ages. Students without delay should know the state of demons and should clarify and practice and experience the state of Buddha. At the time of the Tathagata's parinirvana, Bodhisattva Mahakasyapa said to the Buddha, "World-honored one, a Tathagata is perfectly equipped with the power to know the nature of others. You surely knew that Sunaksatra would cut off his good roots. Through what causes and circumstances did you permit him to leave family life?" The Buddha said, "Good son, in the past, when I first left family life, my younger brother Nanda, my cousins Ananda and Devadatta, my son Rahula, and such like, all followed me in leaving family life and practicing the truth. If I had not allowed Sunaksatra to leave family life, that man in due course would have been able to inherit the position of king. Free to exercise that power, he would have destroyed the Buddha Dharma. In view of these causes and circumstances, I immediately permitted him to leave family life and practice the truth. Good son, if the bhikkhu Sunaksatra had not left family life, but still cut off his good roots, in countless ages there would have been no benefit at all. Now, after leaving family life, although he has cut off good roots, he has been able to receive and to retain the precepts, to serve and to venerate aged veterans, eminent patriarchs, and people of virtue, and to practice and to learn from the first dhyana to the fourth dhyana. These are called good causes. Good causes like these can give rise to good ways. Once good ways have arisen, we can practice and learn the truth. Once we have practiced and learned the truth, we will be able to attain the state of Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. For this reason, I allowed Sunaksatra to leave family life. Good son, if I had not allowed the bhikkhu Sunaksatra to leave family life and receive the precepts, I could not be called a Tathagata, equipped with the 10 powers. Good son, a Buddha reflects whether living beings possess good ways or non-virtuous ways. This man, Sunaksatra, although he possesses both such ways, before long may cut off all good roots and possess only non-virtuous roots. For what reasons? Because ordinary beings like him do not associate with good friends, do not listen to the right Dharma, do not think of good, and do not act in accordance with the Dharma. Due to such causes and circumstances, he may cut off good roots and possess only non-virtuous roots. Remember, although the Tathagata, the world-honored one, is clearly aware that ordinary beings might become cutters of good roots, in order to bestow upon them the causes of good, he permits them to leave family life. It is great benevolence and great compassion. Becoming a cutter of good roots is the result of not associating with good friends, not listening to the right Dharma, not thinking of good, and not acting in accord with the Dharma. Students today, without fail, should associate closely with good friends. A good friend means one who maintains that Buddhas exist and who teaches that there is wrongness and happiness. One who does not negate cause and effect is called a good friend and called a good counselor. The preaching of such a person is the right Dharma itself. To think about this truth is to think good. To act in this manner may be to act in accord with the Dharma. Therefore, irrespective of whether ordinary beings are familiar to us or unfamiliar, we should just encourage them to leave family life and receive the precepts. Do not heed whether or not they will regress in future, and do not worry whether or not they will practice. This may truly be Shakyamuni's right Dharma. The Buddha addressed the bhikkhus. Remember, King Yama once opined, I will someday get free from this suffering. I will be born in the human world. By obtaining a human body, I will then be able to leave family life, shave beard and hair, wear the 3 Dharma robes, and learn the truth as one who has left family life. Even King Yama had this idea. Much more, you all now have obtained a human body and have been able to become Shramanas. Therefore, bhikkhus, you should mindfully practice the actions of body, mouth, and mind, and should not cause imperfections to occur. You should eliminate the 5 fetters and cultivate the 5 roots. Bhikkhus, such as you are, should do such training. Then the bhikkhus, hearing the Buddha's preaching, rejoiced and devoutly practiced. Clearly, we have seen the longing for a life in the human world, even of King Yama, is like this. A human being who has already been born should, without delay, shave beard and hair, wear the 3 Dharma robes, and learn the Buddha's truth. These are the merits of the human world, which are beyond other worlds. To have been born in the human world, yet nonetheless wantonly to pursue a political path or a worldly career, idly spending one's life as the servant of kings and ministers, encircled by dreams and illusions, and in later ages to proceed towards pitch darkness, still without anything upon which to rely, is extremely stupid. Not only have we received the rarely received human body, we have also encountered the rarely encountered Buddha Dharma. We should immediately cast aside all involvements and should swiftly leave family life and learn the truth. Kings, ministers, wives, children, and relatives inevitably are encountered everywhere, but the Buddha Dharma, like the Udambara flower, is hardly ever encountered. In conclusion, when impermanence suddenly arrives, kings, ministers, friends and relatives, servants, wives and children, and precious treasures are of no help. Each person simply proceeds to the underworld alone. What accompanies us is only our good or bad karma. When we are about to lose the human body, our regret at the loss of the human body might be deep. While we retain a human body, we should quickly leave family life. Just this may be the right Dharma of the Buddhas of the 3 times. For those who have thus left family life, there are 4 kinds of practice of the Dharma, namely, the 4 reliances. 1. Throughout one's life, to sit beneath trees. 2. Throughout one's life, to wear robes of rags. 3. Throughout one's life, to beg for food. 4. Throughout one's life, in case of illness, to take old medicine. One who practices each of these methods truly is called one who has left family life, and truly is called a monk. If we do not practice them, we are not called monks. For this reason, they are called practices of the Dharma by those who have left family life. Now, in the western heavens and the eastern lands, what is authentically transmitted by the Buddhist patriarchs is just practices of the Dharma by those who have left family life. The state of a whole life without leaving the temple forest is directly furnished with these practices of the Dharma, the 4 reliances. This is called practicing the 4 reliances. If someone goes against this and establishes 5 reliances, remember, it is a false Dharma. Who could believe in it, and who could affirm it? What is authentically transmitted by the Buddhist patriarchs is the right Dharma. To leave family life in accordance with this right Dharma is the highest and most valuable human happiness. Therefore, in the western heavens of India, Nanda, Ananda, Devadatta, Anuradha, Mahanama, and Badrika, who were all grandsons of King Simahanu, and who were of the most noble Kshatriya caste, quickly left family life. It may be an excellent example for later generations. Those today who are not Kshatriyas should not begrudge their bodies. For those who are not even princes, what could there be to begrudge? The royal Sakyas, coming from the noblest position in Jambudvipa, arrived at the noblest position in the triple world. This was just leaving family life. Kings of lesser nations and the Lichavi multitudes, vainly treasuring what did not deserve to be treasured, taking pride in what did not warrant pride, and staying where they should not have stayed, failed to leave family life. Who could not see them as inept, and who could not see them as extremely stupid? The Venerable Rahula was the son of the Bodhisattva and the grandson of King Shuddhodana, and who would have bequeathed the throne to him. Nevertheless, the world-honoured one pointedly caused him to leave family life. Know that the Dharma of leaving family life is supremely valuable, as the disciple foremost in exact observance. Rahula, even today, has not entered nirvana, but actually abides in the world as a field of happiness for living beings. Among the ancestral masters of the Western heavens who transmitted the Buddha's right Dharma eye treasury, the princes who left family life have been many. Now, the first patriarch in China was the third royal son of the king of Koshi. Not attaching importance to his royal status, he received and retained the right Dharma. We have been able clearly to see that leaving family life is supremely valuable. Having a body that cannot rank alongside those princes, yet being in a position to leave family life, how could we not hasten to do so? For what kind of tomorrow should we wait? If we leave family life in haste, without waiting for the next exhalation or inhalation, that might be wise. We should remember also that the benevolence of the Master, under whom we leave family life and receive the precepts, may be exactly equal to that of a father and mother. Zen En Shingi, Fascicle 1, says, "The Buddhas of the 3 times all say that to leave family life is to realize the truth. The 28 patriarchs of the Western heavens and 6 patriarchs of the land of Tang, who transmitted the Buddha mind seal, were all Shramanas. Perhaps it was by strictly observing the Vinaya that they were able to become universal models for the triple world. Therefore, in practicing Zazen and inquiring into the truth, the precepts are foremost. Unless we have already departed from excess and guarded against wrong, how can we realize the state of Buddha and become patriarchs? Even if a temple forest is in decay, still it may be a gardenia grove, a place beyond common trees and common grass. Or is it like milk, diluted with water? When we want to use milk, we should use this milk diluted with water, but should not use any other substance. Therefore, the authentic tradition, which is that the Buddhas of the 3 times all say that to leave family life is to realize the truth, is supremely valuable. There are no Buddhas of the 3 times who fail to leave family life. Such is the right Dharma-eye treasury, the fine mind of Nirvana, and the supreme truth of Bodhi, which the Buddhas and the Patriarchs authentically transmit. A day of the summer retreat in the 7th year of Kencho.